afternoon and a very warm welcome to you this fantastic Friday afternoon. My name is Jeannie D and this is Afternoon Express. Now it's the Easter weekend, which is of course my favorite holiday because it's obviously associated with my birthday, and I trust that you have a wonderful weekend to come. Now we've got so much to celebrate today in the loft. Joining us today is veteran actress Tina Jaxa, and she starred in Generations from the very first episode in 1993, and we'll be unpacking her incredibly illustrious career today on the show. Plus, we have two-time Metro FM award-winning jazz artist Nomfundo Nxaluva, who will be performing as well in the loft. Now, it's as if there's just couldn't get any more happiness and love in the loft today. That kitchen smells like a dream.
Oh, and it is going to be an absolute dream. Today, good afternoon, South Africa. My name is Danilo Aquista. Now, joining us in the loft today is Clem Pedro, as always. Happy birthday for yesterday, by the way.
Thank you.
Did you celebrate well?
Yeah, I'm still getting used to being 30.
Sure. It's such like a festive season this period of time. I mean, like everyone's with the chocolates and stuff with Easter. Today, a very morning day with sort of being Good Friday, but obviously celebrating yesterday, so it's kind of like in a mixed bag of things. And speaking about mixed bags today, we've got these delicious hot cross buns, which everyone always tends to annihilate on Easter weekend. So what can we do with them to sneak them out of their mouths?
That's just the thing. So I'm going to teach you how to create something so delicious. It's actually, I can't even believe I came up with it. It's going to be a hot cross bun waffle, topped with, wait for this, maple whipped butter and chocolate.
Yummy. So how does a hot cross bun get into waffle? All those details will be coming up later on Afternoon Express. And if you want the details prior to when we get going in the kitchen, get on your mobile device in the meantime by SMSing the keyword SWEET to 33650. Those SMS will cost you $150 and your free SMSs don't apply. I'm so excited to start the show off today with the lady who has really entertained South Africa for many generations, and oh my word, is she one of the most incredible actresses I've ever seen.
Well, then, Danilo, best you save us some hot cross buns. We're coming in there for you. Now, our first guest today, Tina Jaxa, has appeared on South African screens for more than 20 years. You may have seen her on Isidingo as Lorraine or Madam and Eve, where she played Eve, but she's probably best known for her long role as Priscilla in Generations, a character she played from the very first episode that aired in 1993. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Julie D.
I mean, you're that voice, that grace. It's so wonderful to have you here. Now, let's discuss that very first episode of Generations, way back in 1993.
Oh.
This was at a time before South Africa had even had its first inauguration of Nelson Mandela. What was it like?
Oh, shall we start by explaining how I was auditioned for the role?
Yeah.
Mr. Mfundivundla flew all the way from Johannesburg to Cape Town together with Friedrich Stark, the producers, the heads of Generations. And me being from Cape Town, fairly new in the industry, you know, not used to this, not used to that. Anyway, to cut the long story short, I was called in by my agent, Sybil Sands then, to say that I needed to go somewhere, and there were these big shots in the city, you know, scouting for a particular role. Yeah. And then I said, okay, fine, maybe I can do this. And I get there with my funny shoes on, a tiny Tina was there, funny shoes on, shortest skirt ever, and so forth. I thought I looked proper. And then I walked in, and Mfundi looks at me and says, are you ready to do this? And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to do this. Yeah. And he says to me, do you understand the magnitude of this character? I said, I think was not prepared, that well prepared for this. And then he said, put the script down, let's walk. He took me through the whole thing for like an hour to 2 hours, preparing me. I think by the time I walked in, they already made their minds up that they were going to use me. And I was well briefed, chiseled, harnessed, and so forth. And then he says to me after 2 hours later, he says, you know what, actually, I think you can do it, but just trust in yourself. Own this character, do this, do that. So I was briefed, and then I got into be in front of the camera. And then I did my part, and boom, bam, within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I was already jetting off from Cape Town to Johannesburg.
But he must have known that he wanted you to do that role, because to spend 2 hours with you, grooming you, he must have known. Like I said, as I walked in, I think already their mind was made up. Then
the challenge, having to leave Cape Town for a very lengthy period to be in Johannesburg, studio, couple of cameras in front of me, working with people like Sela Makekancobe, Vinela Mashego, and so forth. There's so many people on the floor, and then, because I was fairly new, so I would say a line or two and see a person move behind the camera, and I would stop and get so confused. But then gradually I got into the, gist of things, and yes.
Okay, so when he said to you, do you understand the magnitude of this role? And you said, I don't, because I'm not quite prepared for this. Tell me, what was the magnitude of that role, and how did things change in your life because of the role?
Oh, Ginny.
We're starting with the easy questions first.
I was not ready. In fact, the attention that it received.
Yeah. Being
around lots of media, having to be interviewed day in, day out. Next thing I see myself on newspapers, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. And it's like, boom, bam. The fame came too quick and too soon. Yeah, I think that was the biggest mistake.
But then also in that political climate, it must have been quite an interesting time for you. How do you think the soap industry has changed from 1993 to now, 2017?
I hope I'm not going to get into trouble with this one. And I also hope that I'm not going to sound obnoxious. I think there are very few elements that we missed, few marks that we missed, authenticity that we've missed. In the years. Yes, back in the years we were chiseled, well-cooked, well-prepared, and then I think there was a huge step that was jumped by the industry. I'm so sorry, you know me, I'm gonna tell it as it is. And now looking back, well, judging from where we're coming from and where we are at currently, I see that certain productions, certain broadcasters, they slowly but surely bringing that authenticity back into the realms of life. But Peter can mention the names of the show, and I won't do that. But I still feel that we can still do a whole lot more, bring back the us, bring back the day-to-day happenings in our lives, and just tell our South African story. Just put it out there, lay it out in the platform, and tell us, let's showcase. Let's show the world who we are, where we're coming from.
Yeah, well, I want to showcase your story. So from Generations, you then went on to do Isidingo. Then you had a break and then went back. What was it that kept you pulling back into the soap scene?
Shall we talk about the break first, or shall we talk about the comeback?
Tell us about the break.
Something happened. I found myself being on newspapers every Saturday, Sunday. And those were not good stories. And me being a mother and the way that I was raised, how a person's supposed to behave or handle themselves publicly, all those elements were lost. And I found myself being the talk of the town, not good things, of course. And some of it's true, and some of it's not, and things were fabricated, and I lost it completely. And then I had to go back to square one, go back to the scoreboard and do a self-introspection and find out exactly why I was where I was at that juncture. Then I realized, the most fundamental thing that I really, really used to carry on with me, something that I lost. I got into, I think I got lost in the, what's the word?
Just caught up. I suppose you just got caught up in all the fame, the attention, the fakeness even, maybe.
The fakeness, and the celebrity. And I thought back then I was not that celebrated. That's what I thought. And people were like, no, of course you are a celebrity. Of course you are a star. But then I fell. I fell very hard. And I thought the best thing for me to do is just to stop the world and tell the world that I want to get off, to go back and find myself, to go back and find my higher self, and to go back and find out exactly why am I here for, to go back and find the existence of Tina Jaxa. And then I think that was the greatest thing for me to do ever, because what I did, I went back and I went to go find my old soul. I went back and went to find the purpose of my living, the purpose of, why am I here for? And
I found that you've done that. And
I did. I found it spiritually. And I was like, But then I had to take time to make sure that I was making the right decision.
Sure.
I had children to raise at the same time. Because it's one thing to find your child on a Sunday saying, Mommy, look, what is this? Is this true? And then on Monday morning, he goes to school and then he comes back later on crying. And we want to find out exactly what happened. And they wouldn't tell you up until call. They were like, so-and-so was talking about you because their parents were, having a conversation about you yesterday, and then the child of it, shared the very same thing, gory stories with that particular student that maybe would be sharing that story with my child. So then I had to pull back and just tell the world to stop. And go find myself.
If I think about you, your life and your career, you've had the most extraordinary career. You've done so much work, but you've also had everything happen to you. And we're going to unpack that again on part 2 with this interview here on Afternoon Express. Thank you so much for coming through. We'll be back on the couch with the amazing Tina in a little while. But first, Danilo.
It's so cool to have Tina on the couch. Honestly, just such an incredible soul. And I think it's so good to have these kind of conversations because a lot of people think like, oh, media, it's so great, it's so much fun, it's all glamorous, until those moments sort of happen in your life. So thanks for sharing your story with us, Tina. More from her after the break. Do you fancy a pun with your hot cross bun?
Go for it.
What happens if you pour boiling water down a rabbit hole?
Tell me.
Hot cross bunnies.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's the end of what's happening. We're going to be showing you how to turn your hot cross buns into a delicious treat after the break. Exactly how?
It's going to be an amazing waffle for a reason. Everything we do in the kitchen has a reason.
Okay.
And the reason's going to be that amazing butter that it comes with.
Clem, stop waffling. We've really got to go to a commercial break. We'll see you after this.
Get a taste of the smooth life and you could win big when you buy Tropica. Follow the entry details on your Tropica bottle and stand a chance to win daily airtime prizes, a weekly giveaway of an experience with a Tropica Island of Treasure contestant, Sunglass Hut vouchers, Daniel Klein watches or LG home appliances. You could also win the grand prize of a brand new Kia Sportage. T's and C's apply on tropica.co.za. There's nothing smoother than winning with Tropica. Don't forget to watch Tropica Island of Treasure Seychelles every Monday at 7:30 on SABC3.
Warm welcome back to Afternoon Express on this Friday afternoon. One way to get some great recipe ideas is to read some really cool magazines. You recently went behind the scenes of one of my favorite mags.
Taste Magazine. And people don't know this. I actually used to work at Taste Magazine.
Oh, and what did you find out?
That food is amazing in pages.
Okay.
It's awesome. Everything,
So all the Easter treats and all the Easter details that they were putting together for this magazine, we went to go check it out. Clem got all the details. Take a look.
I'm on set today with Woolworths Taste Magazine to find out what happens behind the scenes of an Easter-themed food shoot. I'm joining food stylist extraordinaire Hannah Lurie to find out how she makes the page of this amazing magazine come to life every month. So we're talking everything Easter today, but I'm dying to find out what is Easter like at your house.
Well, it's always full of food, firstly. I come from a big foodie family and it's always very special and a great way to get together and a good excuse for a holiday.
This theme, Easter for grown-ups, where did that come from?
Well, since I'm not a kid anymore, I thought I might as well earn it and make Easter for grown-ups. So it's often about like going through stores, especially Woolies, and seeing what they've got new and what's in season. It's about making things that you want to eat at home and kind of sharing your experiences with our readers.
Woolies has some iconic Easter products. What are you using today?
Well, obviously we're going to be using the Easter eggs, but also hot cross buns and make a beautiful stuffing for chicken out of the hot cross buns. Use some beautiful figs and the extra spicy buns. And definitely we're going to be having a little fish fry with some apricots, and then I'm going to be doing a modern twist with a bit of a vanilla cream. So it's basically just adding a few nice twists and bringing iconic nostalgic ingredients back into this day and age.
Great, so I'm looking forward to trying all those dishes, but now let's get started on this giant cookie.
Okay, so I've got all of the dry ingredients here, and then we're going to be adding a little bit of the melted butter and then a little bit of vanilla essence. I like to use the paste because it just adds like a much stronger flavor. We're doing like a teaspoon.
Awesome. So the eggs in, you're mixing. What's next?
Now you can add these macadamia nuts, and then we're going to put it into our skillet.
Awesome. Could I use the salted macadamia nuts?
Totally. Salt actually always elevates sweet dishes to like another level.
Now the eggs.
Well, I actually like to dot them in afterwards,
awesome.
so that you can actually see them when you take them to the table. And the great thing is, like you said, it's giant, so it takes up a whole skillet, and it's just an amazing wow factor at the table. So you can just push it all down.
And start adding the eggs.
I know, here comes the fun part.
Let's go.
So just break them up like the bigger eggs, like don't be too precious about it, get the small ones in there.
Awesome, how does that look?
Beautiful.
And now off to the oven.
Amazing.
Let's go.
Cool.
Would you say you have a certain style when it comes to food styling?
Definitely, I can't help myself. I like things a little bit clean, but also I really like to make the food do all of the work for me. So I like to keep things really natural and also keep it wholesome and think less is more. Go with the fewer ingredients that taste great and that also pop off the plate.
What are some of the challenges you face on a food shoot?
Location shooting with food is always a challenge because you never know what the light's going to do through the day. And shooting soufflés because you've got 10 to 15 seconds to get the shot before it collapses.
That's so true. And tell me, for some of our viewers at home, they want to get into food photography, want to start at home. What advice do you have for them?
I would always tell them lighting is everything. Always try to use side light or backlight because it gives the food more texture and it makes it look even more delicious.
So what is your favorite dish of the day today?
I would say the pickled fish bao buns is my favorite for the day.
Which I haven't tried yet.
I think it's so cool to see how young creatives like that can create like sort of cover stories just by shooting a recipe.
I know, I love it, absolutely.
And this cookie looks so amazing. This is something we have to try at some point in our lives ever. Like, I mean, this was a really cool experience for you. You were inspired by this, so is that what we're making on the show
Exactly.
today?
So that cookie that you spoke about actually made cover of the magazine, and it's such it's taking something quite simple like a cookie, but just doing it like on another level.
Okay.
A massive giant cookie. So I'm taking something that we already know, hot cross buns. I'm going to give it a bit of a twist. But first, how do you like your hot cross buns?
I really like them just warmed up slightly with a little bit of butter inside, maybe some jam and cheese. It's like my
I did
favorite
kind of
thing.
a
Cut them in half.
survey around the office. One of our cameramen, Sean, he likes his with Bovril and cheese.
Bovril?
Toasted.
Oh, that's quite nice, like the salty
Yeah.
and the sweet and the cheese.
So
Ooh,
I'm
that's a
trying
nice
that
idea.
today,
Ooh,
but
okay.
my favorite is actually toasted cheese hot cross bun. And it's so easy, but the mistake people make is they actually toast the wrong side of the bun. What you do is you only turn your bun inside out, and you toast the cut side.
You almost only get a certain part of the surface area, like burning the tip, and then nothing else happens. Nothing else
Exactly,
gets
and because it's
crunchy.
sugar coated on the outside, that ends up burning it, that bitterness, which you don't want.
I see.
So try that over the weekend. Dad, you're gonna try it? Take
Done
a
that.
picture.
I don't know if there are going to be any left over this weekend. That's my biggest thing. So if you try fun things at home and you manage to sneak out a couple of those hot cross buns before everyone else has all shoved them into their faces over the Easter weekend, please take a photo of the dish that you've created and send them to us. How do you like yours? I don't know.
Please do. So our dish today is gonna be hot cross bun waffles, which we're gonna get into in a little bit, but we have to start on that butter first. So Dan, you know how we always whip butter, we cream butter and sugar together? Today we're creaming butter and maple syrup.
Ooh, what are they going to combine to create? You've called it something really
A whipped
delicious.
butter with a crunchy chocolate little center. It's gonna
Ooh, yummy.
it's gonna be awesome. So can you pass the butter for me quickly?
Cool, here you go.
So what you want to do is let your butter soften slightly. So just take it out the fridge about half an hour before you make this.
Cool.
And I'm a lefty, so I'm trying to like do this without dropping anything. There we go. So in goes your butter. And like we always talk about creaming, what you want to do is you kind of aerate the butter. It becomes nice and soft
Fluffy
and fluffy.
and,
So let's just get that going first.
Cool, so you want to get that on quite high speed. That's a
Yeah.
good way to get that done. Okay.
And then you can pass me the maple syrup.
Sure. The key ingredient.
So what you want to do now is you want to slowly drizzle in your maple syrup as your butter's busy mixing.
Oh, yummy. Maple has honestly got so much nice flavor already in it, like that creamy, or carameliness.
Yeah, it's more than just sweet.
You better watch what you're doing before you pour it on the machine.
How's that looking? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
oh, wow.
caramelizing, becoming nice and light. Just like that.
Oh, that is so good.
Cool.
It's like those honey butters that people send to
Yes.
a kind of make. This is like a
maple butter.
Yes, maple butter. Yum.
So what I really like is the fact that we're using salted butter. So there's salt that's in there. So it actually complements the sweetness, have a little bit of that saltiness, and of course the richness is insane.
Okay.
So now I'm going to add some chocolate. Now calm down, okay? It's only Easter once a year, all right?
Chocolate on chocolate on chocolate. You have to.
On butter,
And-
on sugar.
Yeah, and if you gave it up for Lent, you gave all your sweet things, this is the best way to like cram as much sweet stuff as you can into one recipe.
All right, so I'm using a chocolate-coated honeycomb
Yum.
chocolate, yeah? Because I love the honeycomb that's in there. It kind of melts. You're going to see how we're going to melt it over the hot cross bun later.
Does it add a
melts
crunch?
through.
Does it still add a little bit of a crunch, or does it melt in?
Yeah. It's going to be delicious.
Okay. You didn't answer the question, but okay. So it melts in, it doesn't crunch.
Yeah, it melts. That's the idea. You don't want it to melt, to crunch too much.
Okay.
You want that honeycomb to melt
Yes,
through.
yes,
That's
yes.
what it's all
Okay,
about.
cool.
And
Yummy.
now, our butter is done.
Delicious. And simple like that, later on we'll be showing you how to exactly create a sort of waffle, not a waffle, what do you call it? It is a waffle.
It is a waffle.
Oh, it's a waffle. Okay, you create a waffle out of your hot cross buns. We'll put all this together later on. Plus I'll give you a little sneak peek as to exactly what that keyword is. You can get all the details on your mobile device a little bit later, right here on Afternoon Express. How yum. The Easter season is the best. Combine all the sweet things together and try something creative, especially if all the family coming over. Back to you, Jeannie, on the couch.
Oh, I absolutely love hot cross buns, and I love when Clem said, how do you love your hot cross buns? How do you love yours?
Sorry, very original. So good old Wales.
faithful.
Thank you.
Oh, me too. Anyway, actually. So, I mean, we were chatting a little bit earlier about the trials and loves and tribulations and the joys of your career, of which there have been many. But congratulations, you also have bounced back more than anyone else into the industry and received so many awards to be celebrated for it. I mean, what are those accolades, and what does that mean to you as an artist?
It takes me back to what we were chatting about earlier when I said that, you know, I had to go back and do a self-introspection, find myself, find my existence, why I'm here for, the purpose, higher self, and so forth. And then I came out with 3 elements that I'm using today, that I'll forever use tomorrow, and that I hope each and every single person who call themselves thespians ought to use them. 1, respect the craft.
Yeah.
2, professionalism. And 3, dedicate yourself fully, 100% undiluted. So it's respect, professionalism, and dedication.
That's
I think
unbelievable advice.
Those are the 3 elements that I used that made me to be relevant, up to date.
Yeah. And then, of course, you just don't know how to age. And hear this, our lovely little Tina here, you've got 6 children.
Correct.
And you're a grandmother.
Ooh, she said it! I was going to keep that in the bag for a very, very long time to come, because it's the way they told me. The baby girl, Jenny. She's now how old? 3 weeks old.
Listen, I want you to hug your skirt up, and I want you to shorten it to that so you can be our very own Tina Turner.
This is how I got it. They were like, hey, hi, how you doing? I'm like, fine, thanks. And you? What's up? No, good. Listen, do you still have those bum shorts of yours? I'm like, yeah, why? Are we going somewhere? Like, no, hold it. Do you still have those skinny tops of yours? I'm like, yeah. Do you still have those, you know? I'm like, yeah, where are we going with this? Congratulations, you're a grandmother.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Fantastic news.
So, yes, going back to me not aging, do you mean it, don't you?
No, you look sensational. I also don't know how to age, so I definitely respect
girl. Truth be told, it's my dad's genes. It's from my father's genes.
Yeah.
And besides, I still do my 5 to 10 kilometers walks 3 times a day. I now have my personal fitness instructor that lives and stays with me. So he comes thrice a week. He knocks on my door, you know, because really I'm not getting any younger. I am. Thank you for not aging. But then again, a bit of both the genes. Yep. You should say my grandma, one of my grandma, the sister to my grandma, she's about late 70s. But if we were to go, both of us to wear bikinis, you will never tell the difference.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But you know what? Good genes, definitely. But aging is certainly looking after yourself and having a strong mindset.
And that
keeping
inner child,
keeping that energy.
Yes.
Now, bouncing back to your career, what a lot of people don't know is that you've got one of the most unbelievable filmographies, I suppose, of international films. But you've covered cinema nouveau, like film noir movies, and such an amazing cross-section. Let's start off with The Last Face with Sean Penn, Charlize Theron, Javier Bardem.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, delicious. What was that experience like? Because I think Sean Penn directed you in that.
Directed me in that.
What was that experience like?
Hey, I met a very beautiful soul who took a very interest in me. I was actually shocked, and I was like, wow, Sean Penn.
Of course,
I remember the verse that I was going to have
human.
He's only human, right? But I had butterflies in my stomach because I was called in by my agent saying, he needs to see you one-on-one. You're going to have a one-on-one with him. I'm like, whoa. And then I get there, and then he says, hey, how you doing? Can I please ask you a greatest favor? Would you be in my movie?
Oh, my goodness.
And then he said, wait, I hope the answer is going to be yes. Deep down, he's like, are you crazy? Of course, he said, definitely, yes, I meant to. And on set, he would, you know, he's got this amazing soul, this amazing spirit. There's that inner child inside of him that always has to come out and play. Every time he sees, he's got a naughty face like your cook, like your chef. He's got those twinkly eyes, and then he would be like, hey, good morning, how you doing, Tina? Fine, thanks, and you? And he would never take me through third, fourth takes. So there was also an element of a friendship that I actually miss. Why did you have to go? Dinner time, breaks time, you'd be like, hey, Tina, what's up? Come here, come over here, let's have a conversation.
Amazing.
So how's life? So I had a very special type of, which I
relationship.
always have with my directors anyway.
Yeah.
So yes, and Charlize was amazing.
She's
and we
so
used to speak
amazing.
Afrikaans all the time on set. We'd take a few walks and and Jean Reno was amazing. He was there on set. And Javier Baradam with that sexiness. I mean, really,
You are just such an amazing, amazing energy. Thank you so much for coming through onto the loft. We're going to cook for you. We're going to be giving you hot cross buns a little bit later, but thank you so much for coming.
Thank you,
I
Trinity, for
love
having
your
me.
spark that you carry wherever you go. Just like Danilo and our chef with the naughty face.
Such a naughty face again?
No, I'm shot. No!
There it was, everybody, and that naughty face is going to be finishing off a hot cross bun waffles after the break, plus our favorite time on the show where we get to answer all of your questions for myself and Jeannie. Don't go anywhere.
Afternoon Express is big on fashion and big on food. Follow us on Instagram to check out who wore what and find our mouth-watering recipe recaps so you can dress and dine the Afternoon Express way.
It's good to have you back with us on Afternoon Express. We're in the kitchen and about to finish off those delicious waffles made out of hot cross buns. Like, who would have thought? But not only that, you've also created your own delicious maple butter with some crunchy chocolate in there. Super yum.
It's going to be delicious. So let's talk about those waffles. So it's real simple. All you do is you take your beautiful hot cross bun and then you pop it inside a waffle iron. Okay. So what's really great is Woolies have like quite a selection. That was just the extra spicy one I popped in there. You also get the hot cross buns without any fruit in it.
Oh, I
Apparently
see.
some people don't like
My
that.
brother used to he grew up hating raisins. So whenever we used to have like sort of Christmas time or Easter time, he used to hate the raisins. He'd pick them all out of his things and then eat the rest.
Well, your brother is now sorted. Willie's got his email. So these are the chocolate chip hot cross buns.
yes,
There's
these are
chocolate
really
in there
good.
as well. Oh, look at that. It's already starting to happen. Magic's happening right there. So the reason I use it in the waffle iron is because of that outside coating that is sugar glazed already. What happens is that goes slightly crisp, caramelizes, but the inside stays fluffy.
Yummy.
It is absolutely amazing. So you can either do individual ones like I've done over here, or you can try and get them all together to make one giant waffle, like this guy over here.
Oh
Look
my
at that.
word, they like stick together.
They do, and that's because of that sugar glazing that's on there. So I'm going to give this a few more seconds, and while I'm doing that, I brought in some hardware, okay? So I'm going to let this heat up down and pass that to you. It should be getting hot
My
nice.
favorite thing to do.
And I'm going to let me just divide this like this for you.
I want to burn you.
There we go. And, that butter.
I think Clem chose this particular heat gun on this day because obviously Tina was saying that he's got a naughty face. He was like, I must bring in like a naughty, like just imagine a naughty kid in a household with one of these.
Always.
Okay, what must I do?
You're going to start melting that for me?
Must I melt it?
Yeah. So what you want is you want the butter to start melting and
wow.
oozing. And because you've got the cracks between the waffles, those cracks, those little divots, they hold all the butter in there. That's the idea,
This
okay?
is so cool. That's going to almost melt down, like imagine in those sort of commercials where they put like a dollop of butter and just like melts over the pancakes.
Look
or
at
whatever.
that. It's happening.
Yum, that's so good.
And also we spoke about the honeycomb that's in there. That's going to start melting as well. Obviously we don't have a heat gun at home. It's fine. With a natural heat that's actually on the hot cross
Like
bun.
this one. This one's just melting just
Exactly.
because it's
doing
there.
its own thing. I'm
this is so
I'm
good.
just being a little extra and bringing in the heat gun. So I think our big guy's done as well.
Cool.
You're doing
So I'll stop
such a
this
good
for now?
job. Oh, look at that, Dan. That's the magic right there.
Done and dusted.
Wow. So let me
Ta-da! I did it, everybody. I did it.
this big guy's gonna sit up over there. We'll add some more
so
butter
good.
to him.
Yummy.
And what
And
do
that's
you
it.
think? Yes.
Done and dusted. It looks amazing. It's like a whole new way to create these hot cross buns. And Clem was giving me some advice in the ad break, and I thought you should enjoy this little piece of advice, because I know everyone's going to want to eat your hot cross buns at some point. They're going to take them out of the packets and eat them. Go to each packet that you've got in the house and go and steal one from each packet as you go to create one big waffle in the end process.
Do it.
Very nice advice. Can I taste it?
Go for it. Please do. Try some. Get the
I'd love to
butter
know what
on
it's
there.
like. Oh, yum. Little piece of the butter here.
I like
Oh,
how
it's so
you use
crispy.
it.
Yeah, no, most people will just use their hands, but I mean, bearing in mind this is TV, and I don't even know how to do TV bites. It's like the one thing I've never learned. Is
Go
a good
for
old
it.
TV bite. Oh my word, that's so yum. Yeah, maple really comes through nicely.
I'm glad, yeah. It's because of the salt and the butter.
Oh, that is so good, so good. A great way to create dessert out of your hot cross buns. If you want the details on your mobile device, you SMS the keyword SWEET to 33650. It'll cost you $1.50 and those free SMSs don't apply. Here's a quick recap.
Okay, that's totally going to kill my goal weight.
I know, but it's so yum. It's so worth it.
Did you eat it all?
No, I just had a little slice out of the corner, and that butter is so yum. It's flavored with maple. It's everything. Yeah.
It looks really delicious.
So yum. Can't wait for later in the show.
Me too. Now it's time for our favorite segment on the show. It's #Ask the Presenters, where you get to ask us whatever is on your mind. Let's see our first question.
Well, my question are directed to Jeannie. First, I'd like to know, would she date a celebrity, or is she dating one? You know, if name dropping, if she doesn't mind, and would she keep it a secret and why?
Would I date a celebrity?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'm waiting for Leonardo DiCaprio to actually propose, to be quite honest. I'd marry him in
the
a
other part
heartbeat.
is also quite important. It's like, would you keep it a secret or would you make it public?
I would probably... You know, there's no way that you can keep it a secret completely, but my private life's my private life. I like to keep my private life private.
But do you think dating a celebrity is a thing? Like, do you think, because I've heard a lot of media personalities are 50-50 about it. Some of them are like, it's cool because you understand each other's work, but the other 50% says it's just because there's so much attention on you. I'd rather date somebody who's completely out of it to get a new perspective.
You know what? Yeah, it's about the person. It actually depends on who. You don't choose who you fall in love with.
Let's check out the next question.
Hi, my name's Justin, and this question is for Danilo. If you could change your name to anything, what would it be?
Oh my word, what's wrong with my name, Justin? I like my name. Okay, so the name Danilo means, it comes from the root Daniel, which means God is my judge, and it's got to do with biblical terms and things like that.
Yeah.
If I were to change my name, it would have to be something so exotic that people would be like, oh wow, that's lovely, like a, Alessandro. So people can call me Sandro, they can call me Al, you know, for the people who can't pronounce it. Alessandro, what do you think?
Yeah, no, it's Danilo works for me. I love the name Alessandro, but why would you want to change your name?
Thought so too.
What's in a name anyway?
As a kid, I used to hate my name because no one can be able to pronounce it. Still, I guess people have different versions of my name. Danilo, but it used to be Danilo, all of those things.
Daniela.
Well, that too, yeah. My brother had Michele, which has Michelle with one L, so in assemblies. And the award goes to Michelle. So
I love the name Michele.
Yeah, it's stunning.
Okay, next question.
I would ask Jeannie D a question, and it would be, considering her very busy schedule, how does she fit in her gym routines and how does she keep in shape?
Oh, it's so difficult. It's really, really very hard. But I think I'm quite disciplined. So I train every single morning. And you know what? I do try and eat whatever I want to, but within reason. So if it's going to be the best thing that I'm going to eat in my life, and if it's worth the cheat, then I do it. Like, I'm definitely tucking into those hot cross buns a little bit later. But yeah, I'm
And scheduling your time, because I mean, there's always lots of demands on media personalities to, you know, be doing lots of things. You've got to train, you've got to be on air, you've got to be doing new things, PR, all that stuff.
But I've been on TV for almost 14 years, so I suppose it's now my routine. I'm just good at time management.
Yeah.
I'm really, really good at juggling time. When I have free time, I'll go to gym or I'll go and walk on, you know, I'll go for a long hike or something like that.
Just to refresh the brain. All right, let's try and get one more question in there. Let's see who it's from.
Hi, my name is Ati, and I just want to ask Danilo a question. If he were to only eat one dish for the rest of his life, what would it be?
No. You are, probably a pasta. A really nice one that's got a lot of all the different ingredients like vegetables and things in it. It's like the worst question to ask me ever. It's like, well, who's your favorite artist at the moment? Or what's your favorite song?
What's your favorite song?
I go from thing to thing all the time. But a good old pasta reminds me a lot of home. It reminds me a lot of my roots, and I think it's so filling and that gives you that carb-like energy is always really great. So I think it would probably be like a carbonara or something. Would be my meal I'd eat for the rest of my life, over and over again.
Yeah, me. Well, thank you so much for all of your amazing questions. We really do love hearing from you. Now, after the break, we're sitting down with two-time Metro FM award winner Nomfundo Ngqaluva. We'll be right back after this.
Sea Harvest. New look, same great taste.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express this Good Friday. And our next guest, Nomfundo Ngqaluva, fell in love with music from a young age. And at 12 years of age, she first learned how to play the piano. Following her passion, she completed her master's in jazz at UCT. And as a recording artist, she's won 2 Metro FM awards for Best Urban Jazz Album. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you.
And of course, another congratulations are in order because you've just found out that your album is #1 on the iTunes jazz list.
Well, yeah. So immediately after, because my show at the Cape Town Jazz Fest was Saturday night.
Yes.
And then on Monday, I actually found out via social media that my album title From Now On was #1 in the iTunes jazz charts. And I mean, the album came out in like 2015. And I was like, 2 years later, it's gone back to #1.
Oh, good.
So that was really great because it means that the people who were at the festival then went home and downloaded it, which is basically what you want. Yeah.
So between that and the Metro FM Awards, what does that mean to you as an artist? Like, what does it mean to your career?
It means everything in a sense that, look, the Metros are special because people vote for them. So they're like public votes. So you've got to go on a whole campaign, you know, really quite aggressive at times, like vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. And to win it twice is really like quite a thing. And then, you know, it's about also like you have more leverage, you know, when you can win the awards and you can do the festivals. But the hard work is still just, the hustle is still just as much the same.
Exactly.
But it's nice to be able to, also when people say 2-time Metro, you know, you kind of go, oh, that's nice. That's like, got a ring. So it's really nice. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the vibe.
So now I want to take you back to the beginning. Was it your grandfather, I believe, that got you into music?
Yes, he did actually, bless his heart. He was a very forward thinker, lover of jazz. He was a law school dropout, very eloquent. Like, I mean, I think he spoke more English than Xhosa, actually. And, you know, so he was kind of in his own element all the time and playing this music in the house that was quite out there. And he then said to me, listen, you've got to learn to play an instrument.
Was music in your, did you really enjoy it? Did you enjoy sitting there listening to it?
I don't think I had an awareness for the kind of music he was playing. I don't think I was internalizing it or absorbing it, you know, sort of intentionally. But it was always there. So eventually you do internalize it and kind of sponge off it. But his whole thing was that you've got to learn to play an instrument. And he was like, and I was like, well, I'd actually like to play the piano. And that's when I started. And then he bought me a piano like sort of a year later.
Amazing.
So very, very cool.
And did you connect with it immediately? Like often when I watch musicians, and especially jazz musicians, for some reason when you watch jazz musicians kind of, what's it called when you're jamming?
Yeah,
or
so improvising and stuff.
Yeah. It looks as though your body becomes part of the instrument. And it looks as though your body becomes its own instrument because you can see the musicians go into their own. I mean, tell me about that love affair with getting into that groove of music and then...
Look, you're so right because... You know, oftentimes, everyone's got, all artists have their little quirks. You know, some people tap their feet a particular way. But for me, I know that, look, and it was an instant love affair between myself and the piano. Definitely there was a thing there. But because the music is ultimately flowing through you, you know, it's like this kind of inner body thing, and so you're bound to move with it. So oftentimes, like, I'll get mocked or teased, like when I sit at the piano, that I'm moving away. And sometimes when I watch myself for like clips, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And I realize it's just the music completely consuming your body. And you're right, when musicians are improvising, it's a synergy, it's an energy. People are moving, the pulse, the rhythm. So you'll seldom find, you know, musicians kind of just like completely still, you know, like doesn't really, you've got to move it and feel it.
So now that you've been doing music for quite a number of years, why still jazz? What is it about that particular genre that speaks to your soul?
Jazz, and it wasn't even like love at first sight because I was saying just the other day that it is somewhat of an acquired taste. And it's a music that I fell in love with, you know, after even enrolling to study it at UCT. So it grows on you with time. And for me, the reason why I still do it, I feel like it's the best way to express who I am, you know, and I'm very highly influenced by jazz musicians. So I know a lot of people don't want to be boxed in. No, I don't want to, don't genre specify me, whatever. I'm totally comfortable, you know, it's what I do, it's what I've studied, you know, it's my sort of tool of trade. And I find joy in it, you know, in jazz. If you ask me to like rap like you did now.
I'm a bit of a rapper.
Yeah, Jeannie just rapped, I'd be like, I can't do that, you know. So yeah, I love the music. It really does speak to who I am.
Jazz music almost sounds quite difficult to do for me. Like if you listen to any other genre, you can kind of piece the arrangement. But jazz sounds quite difficult to do. How do you, as an artist, put everything together? Do you know what I'm asking?
I do get it. I do, because jazz is a language,
Yeah.
I think it is. So oftentimes, especially when you are in an environment where it's very purist, straight-ahead jazz musicians, if you're not familiar with the music, it's not easy listening.
Yeah.
So you're kind of going there and like sound, and then the pianist is like playing like 1,000 notes per minute or whatever. So it's a language, and all the musicians are kind of speaking or like throwing different phrases around in this language and
Yeah.
stuff. So from that perspective, you're so spot on, because oftentimes people think, jazz is just music, anyone can do it. You know, I
Yeah.
can sing a little something, and then you realize, no, but hang on, it's not that easy. You know, it's like me trying to speak a foreign language, you know.
Yeah.
So that's really what it's about. It's about really how far or how well versed are you in the language. Some people just kind of know the basics. Hi,
Yeah.
how are you? I'm fine, thank you, my name is. And then you get those who like really speak the
Oh,
language.
you are fluent. You are fluent as an app.
Thank you.
Now, one of my favorite pieces that I've ever watched is Elton John, and he's performing on the piano, and Mary J. Blige is standing next to him and she's singing. And her eyes are closed while she's singing, and there's just tears streaming down her face, and she's singing, that's why they call it the blues. It's such a beautiful moment. But you've had a very similar moment like that in your
Yeah.
career. I want to know about it. Tell me everything.
So, my all-time fave, American jazz singer, Miss Diane Reeves, basically is in the country, and I get this call saying, can you open for Diane Reeves? And I'm thinking, never. Like, get out of here. You know, and they're like, 2 nights, you know, whatever, just you on the piano. And I mean, this was 2011. So I was a couple of years younger. My debut album wasn't out yet. And I was like, you know what, okay. And I remember, you know, just not to make it too long, but at sound check, I didn't realize she was backstage. And I was in the theater, and I was like sort of doing a sound check on the piano, on the keyboard, you know, in this like massive theater. And afterwards I walk out, and she's like standing there. And I was like, oh my God. And it was the most incredible 2 nights of my life, because my segment was like 15 minutes long before she comes on. And both nights she'd stand on the side of the stage on the wings to watch me. And on the second night, I mean, you had like, it is ridiculous.
I want to cry for
I
you.
was beside myself. So anyway, I do the second night. It's complete craziness. People are loving it, whatever. And then I watch her now, because now I'm done and whatever. And at the end of the show, she quickly comes backstage, grabs me, like out of nowhere, a second mic appears, and then we start to sing to each other.
No.
Can you deal?
I can't deal. I'm in tears just
Can
thinking
you
about
deal?
that.
And like suddenly a mic, and then she starts like singing. She's got this thing where she speaks. So she'd be like, you know, it's so lovely to be here with you. You know, well, how lovely to listen to Nomfundo singing tonight. And then people are going mad. And then like she look at me, and I'm like, I can't really believe this is happening. You know, and then we just have this like conversation. At that point, the theater is like raucous, mad. People are on their feet screaming, thinking we've rehearsed this, which we have not. I am crying and singing at the same time. It's just one of those experiences, that a gift that just keeps giving, keeps giving. So
what a moment.
I mean, yeah, just even telling it, just I can remember it so vividly.
I'm sitting in here, tears and with goosebumps. You are such a joy. Thank you so much to bringing so much light into our life today.
Thank you
I
very
cannot
much.
wait to hear you perform, and you're going to be performing for us right here after the break. That's the best Easter present ever. Over to you, Danilo.
I've been waiting for this turn, take me. Okay, we'll leave it to the professionals. Nomfundo performs after the break right here on Afternoon Express. Don't miss it.
Say yes to the Smart Snack.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express on 3, and we're now about to give you the ultimate Easter treat. Before the break, we got to know the bubbly and inspiring Nomfundo Ngaluva. Now here she is to end Good Friday in style with Bayateta.
kude othetha thetha kude kuse basindoni bayathetha oakuncedo ukhala abantu balomhlaba
Come on over. My word.
So beautiful.
Thank you,
guys.
Honestly, the thing that I've learned about jazz is that a lot of musicians can say, or people that want to learn how to play music can put a couple of notes together and make them into a beat form. Jazz requires feeling. It requires something intrinsic to people. And it really just shines from who you are. Your entire persona puts on that performance. It was so stunning. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow, I
That was
appreciate that.
absolutely beautiful.
I was transported there.
Girl, that's my plan.
So I have to say thank you so much to our guests for today. You were both so unbelievable. And of course, Clem, thank you so much for giving us the true meaning of Easter.
Speaking of which,
just teasing.
Yeah, it's time for us to say goodbye. I hope you guys have a super blessed weekend ahead of you. Enjoy the long weekend. This is a long weekend, right? Does everyone get Monday off?
Yeah, well, I hope so.
I hope so. We'll see you next week, Monday, same time, same place. Good night and happy eating. Bye.
Another feel-good production.